Hey folks, Mad Rabbit here, doing part 2 of my ESO Elder Scrolls Online wish list. These are basically everything else that I really didn't include in that last one. Mainly because, just for time, I knew that last one was going to be a long one. Considering it was going over all the storylines, the different zones, DLCs, expansions I would like to see in the game, this one here basically has everything else. And I thought I was going to break it up into maybe 3 or 4 parts, but I think I'm looking at the list. I think we're going to be able to get through these a little bit quicker, hopefully even quicker than the last one. Let's go one by one through them. I don't have any, but they're not in any particular order. I do know there were 2 things that I put on the list that I did hear they're actually going to be adding to the game. They did say they were going to add them to the game. All right, now they're talking about some sort of veteran difficulty for overland content. Now me personally, I don't give a crap too much, but a lot of people have been asking for it. I sort of can see how, if you can provide proper incentives, not just gold and experience, but I want better rewards and something really substantial to make you want to play veteran difficulty overland content. However, they are saying that it's coming, and they just haven't implemented it yet. That's my understanding, so that's what some of the developers have said. And the other thing is crossplay from consoles and PC. That too is supposedly in the works. I did not know that, but I heard some recent interview from the developers, and they're saying yes, it's going to be added to the game. They're working on it. They are literally working on it. All right, so I guess we're going to get to the stuff that me personally I would like to see in the game. Mostly this is stuff that I don't know if it's going to be added yet to, I just mentioned. Things I would like to see in the game. At least one more class. I want a monk class, a proper monk class that where all your abilities are they're gonna look like you're doing martial arts. That's what I want. But I also want a skill line that maybe has a bow staff that the monks could use, some sort of an unarmed or a claw weapon type, which would be, you can make the claw weapon maybe invisible, so if you wanted to look like you're just purely punching, you can do that. But if you wanted to look like Wolverine or something, you could do that too. I would make it so you could actually hide it. Or an unarmed line. And I would make that unarmed line probably both having a stamina and a magicka morph to it. I know a lot of these would be considered weapon skill lines, and they're almost all stamina ones, but personally I think I would like to see them as having the ability to both do either or. I would also like just a pure caster type look weapon skill line, but basically would be you would be casting spells with your hands and maybe a book in one hand. So what would happen is I guess I'll just call it hand casting with a book. That would be one skill line, and that would be maybe you would call it the elemental skill line or something like that, or you would work it into one of the other ones I'm going to come up with, because I want mysticism and alteration, some of the spells that are in oblivion, to be maybe worked into some sort of a utility line of skills. And so maybe if you had you're casting spells with a hand and you're holding a book in the other hand, maybe that would be somehow work into the mysticism one, and the conjuration one would be sort of the same thing. So maybe conjuration, mysticism, alteration, maybe they would all use a book in some of the animations, and that would be the item you pick up. Because I said, if you were to do unarmed, you would be missing a slot with stats on it, right? So you sort of have to have something that's collectible that drops from dungeons and monsters and things that could be crafted and whatnot. So all these weapon skill lines, I would like to see some way or another you're going to have to work in an item that drops. So for these spellcaster ones, you could make the animation just with both hands, you're casting a spell with both hands and you not actually see the book. Or you can have it so that you're casting the spell with one hand and you're holding a book. You could also have one hand casting a spell with another one's holding a wand. I suppose that could work too. As far as that, those are the skill lines I would like to see. And for the conjuration one, I was thinking, obviously because these are weapon skill lines and they wouldn't be a class skill line, that the morphs for obviously conjuration, mysticism, alteration would be, they would both be magicka based. The conjuration ones, some of the conjurations that were missing, that were like in some of the original games, like I don't think we have like an actual conjuration where you can bring a lot of these Atronox in. So let's have it so that you can bring in the stone, storm, fire, and the ice ones. Those Atronox. That would be in the conjuration one. Then we'd have maybe one more thing. Maybe like some other one of the missing Daedra ones. I know like there's a, I can't remember what it is. I think it's a monster set. It has it so they can you would sometimes, when it procs, you would get crocodile look and Daedra. I forget what they call those now. Daedroth? Something like that. Anyway, it'd be neat like they actually have like an actual conjurable one. It doesn't come from like a skill set, you know? Or a weapon set. So, I mean armor set. Jeez, how many freaking times I'm going to mess that up. So that's what I would like to see as far as weapon skill lines that could be added to the game. And that this is a monk class. So somehow or another, put all that together. And there you go. That's what I want. You could maybe add another class that would be like a pure conjure class, so maybe just call it mage or something, and you can work those other skill lines into the mage skill line. So I guess you could just say like they wouldn't be weapon skill lines then, like so conjuration, mysticism, alteration would maybe be worked into like a regular wizard or mage build or whatever. That would be another class we could put in. I think I mentioned this in my last one about in some of these veteran zones, you would have wandering Daedric cultists on the roads and stuff. Oh yes, I did mention that in the last one. Completely forgot about that. So I won't repeat that again, but I was thinking like it would be nice if that was some sort of a feature for the veteran difficulty overland stuff. It could also be in normal though, so people could still collect it like on a normal. I would also like to see new playable races. Now there's like a bunch of Khajiit, alternate Khajiit forms. If you played the two elsewhere DLCs, then you already know. They got like the one that's literally like a cat that can talk. I want that. I know it would be like ridiculous because like what are you gonna do? Put armor and weapons and have them carry armor and weapons and shit like that. But I would have it so that they like literally like just float in like this energy ball and like you just see like a sword or something come out and just swipe or something. I think it would be ridiculous, but it'd be ridiculously cool. Also, there's they had like the Khajiit that are a little bit like, they look like the regular Khajiit we have now. But there's one type that's like a little bit smaller, and then there's one type that's like huge. They look like a freaking ogre size thing. And I've seen them in some of the Khajiit zones. So they already have the base models in game for those. I'd like to see those too. I guess also those, the big cats too, because if you're gonna, again, putting like weapons and armor on the big cats because they don't really have opposable thumbs, it seems ridiculous. But you could, like, if you're gonna do the small ones, do the big ones too. So, okay, I can sort of see like the bigger and smaller Khajiit that are sort of like, I can see them being in the game, but I guess I can't really see the four-legged type of Khajiit in the game. Unless they were somehow like restricted to being pure like casters or something. Like all they could do was cast stuff. I don't know. I'm not sure how their animations would work. And I'm not sure how you would show armor and weapons on those guys either. Because they really can't carry them. I'd put in Sea Elves. Pretty much have them in the game anyway. Why not put them in? I don't see why not. I mean, they're literally in the game. And I know they're sort of like, oh, because they're not technically from Tamriel, they're kind of from like off the coast of Tamriel. But they keep popping in, so why not? Why not have some Sea Elves in there? You know, goblins. I know people will be like, oh, well, they don't ever present goblins as being like intelligent in these games. I know if I played Oblivion, and I don't even think I've ever heard them have any lines of dialogue in Oblivion. And I don't think I've ever had, I'm trying to remember if they had any lines of dialogue in Elder Scrolls Online or not. I'm not really sure. But I'd like to see goblins in there. I would also like to see them remake the existing goblin models they have in the game, so they have some alternating looks to them. They all look the same. I would have them so maybe they look a little different, so you can have some kind of customization for them if you ever did make them a race. Same thing with the Reeklings. Now, if you played Solstein in Why not? I want to see like a remake of the Reclings too, because they didn't really do a very good job on when you see Reclings in this game. They don't look too good. I'd like to see like them come back through and remake some of the races, particularly those. And if they did go with my idea that I was mentioning in that last wishlist video about Akavir, the Akaviri races, I would like to see the Akaviri races made as playable characters in this game. I don't know all the races or all the lore behind it. I'm kind of doubting they'll do it, but I do know they have like these big ape guys. I forgot what they're called. I forgot what their name was. It's like it begins with a U or something. It's weird. So they have the ape dudes. They have like those snake guys. I think they have another like almost like a Khajiit type that are some sort of like a feline kind of humanoid type. I don't know if they're exactly. I don't know exactly what they look like. They might be very similar to the Khajiit, or maybe too similar. I don't know. So you could put them in there. Also the Argonian. Having the Argonians, those, like, I think it was in Blackwood, and maybe it was also in Murkmire. We had some of those larger forms of Argonians. They almost like look like bigger Argonians. Why not put them in there too? I mean, you already got those. They're made up. Because I know, well, like if you try to make it look like they're going through a doorway, those would be too big. Same thing with those larger size Khajiit. So I can see why they wouldn't want to put them in there, but why not put them in there? You know what I mean? I would do it. That's just me. So the Akaviri races. Oh, also, I'd gotten this suggestion in the last one, and I'd also been thinking about it for some time, for a few years myself. Now, these Seals of Endeavors and like crown crates and the crown gems and all this stuff, it's all nice and good that you have a lot of these really nice, flashy items that you're selling people. But you got to give some sort of incentive to actually play the game. And if there's one thing I've noticed, not a lot of high quality like pets, mounts, outfits in the game. Like most of the things you get from like the holiday events for the holiday tickets and for like Endeavor Seals and stuff are like they're locked behind a really high level amount of getting Endeavor Seals and stuff like that and crown gems. Why not make some of these earnable in-game? Like the good stuff. I don't mean like the shitty stuff. And that's the problem. A lot of the pets and mounts that you get for these, like the event tickets and different trials and dungeons and things like that, they're not that good compared to what they're selling on the Crown store and in the Crown, like the Crown crates in particular. So I think you need to actually give people incentive to play your game. So this could also be sort of like fixing Elder Scrolls Online when I did that video, how to fix Elder Scrolls Online. And I didn't really go into this, but this is something I had been thinking about over the years, and someone suggested it in the previous video about just making it so that you can get more Seals of Endeavors so you can get the stuff a little bit easier. Particularly if you are bleeding off people, that it would be a good idea to give people incentives to want to actually log in every day. Particularly if they're just endeavors, they're not asking people to do much. So I would make it so that you can get more endeavors per week. And I would also make the ability basically to get way better quality, like costumes, motifs, etc., pets, mounts, like some of the stuff with more flashier animation stuff and flashier light show kind of surrounding, the cool looking mounts that everyone's like, oh, I wish I had that one. Those have to be earnable in game. I know, like, some of them they did lock away a couple of them in some of these golden endeavors, or what do they call those? Whatever they call those things. Yeah, the golden endeavors that they were doing that pop up every so often. But sometimes, like, I don't know, I just think you need to, like, oh, well, we want people to start playing these dungeons, so let's put some better quality thing at the end of this dungeon, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like better things. If they go with my suggestion from the last one, for like an arena mode for PvE, like if they put Imperial City in, and you had an arena, and it was sort of like an infinite archive. Remember I was saying that in the last episode about my wish list for ESO? if they did that, just like we had with the Infinite Archive, I would also have like rewards that you can earn with points from that system also, but good ones, like I'm talking about here, about the better rewards for endeavors and better rewards for playing just regular content. I would have that in there. And this is the one I mentioned before, but something that World of Warcraft had since pretty much the beginning, just a barber. How come you can't just freaking change your character's hair color? That was in from the beginning in World of Warcraft. I played 10 years of World of Warcraft, and now 10 years of Elder Scrolls Online. I don't see why you can't just have a simple barber in-game. It's not that difficult. Come on. I'd also want to see, this is probably doable, but whether or not they must be, I don't know, from like a role-playing point of view, I don't know if they'll ever do this, but I want to see more like account level quests. Now what I mean by that is, I don't want to have to unlock companions, or the scribing system, or antiquities, or writing training even, on multiple characters. It gets really annoying. Like, let's say I'm playing my main character here, and like then I'm playing one of my alt characters. Oh, I have to go and unlock every companion all over again on my other character just to have access to those companions. It's annoying, and it's just it's got to stop. That kind of thing has got to stop. Writing training that's the biggest worst culprit. I know that's not a quest, but just having training your writing skill up, which is extremely important for a lot of reasons. That should be account bound. We should not have to do it on each individual character, and give us a refund for. Let's see, I got like 13 people. I want a refund on the 12 people that when you do implement this system, I want a refund. Same thing with the antiquity system and the scribing system. Why do I have to rebuy and get from drops all the scribing related, those thingies that drops for that system? And why do I have to re-level antiquities if I want to like dig up antiquities with another character? I only did it with my main character for antiquities. Scribing, you kind of have to do it for everybody because you might want to use the scribing system, so you have to do it with everybody. Same thing with companions, because you might want to have your character running around with. I have a couple of my companions set up for like tanking, some set up for DPS, some one set up for healing. So yeah, to go out there and earn all that all over again with every time you have another alternate character is just really mind-numbingly stupid. And this brings me to the big, like probably the biggest. This is like I was gonna make this almost a separate video. They need to make companions not suck. All right. First off, you need to add helmets. A helmet slot for them. Cover their stupid faces up. They all look the same. Okay. It's ridiculous that I would personally like not having our existing companions and just be able to make up a companion of your own, or maybe a few companions. Maybe get like 4 slots. So if you want to make a tank companion, a DPS companion, a healing companion, maybe some other oddball one, and then maybe you can buy more slots for extra companions, and you would just be able to, it'd be like just like the character creator. You'd make them up from scratch. Okay. I just want the customization of my playable character on the companions. So I want to be able to use polymorphs, costumes, and everything else in between. Again, covering up the face if I want to put a helmet on. I want a complete off switch for their damn voiceover shit, because particularly in Bastion's case, because I am so sick of him. I literally got so fed up with Bastion that he used to be like my tank guy. I've been taking all his gear off and putting it on, was it Sharp as Night or whatever that was, the Argonian one. Because I don't mind him. The Argonian one's pretty good. But I'm so sick of Bastion and just his mouth running. I'm so sick of it. Oh man. You need an off switch for their voices. Entire off switch. Because even on the minimal setting, which I have him on, whenever I have him on any of my guys, he is set to minimal. But he still runs his mouth. So sick of it. And then if you're insistent on keeping the existing companions, again, make all this, the whole favor system and all the account, and all the companion related quests, make that account like part of like in the account bound quest also. I don't want to have to re-earn favor or go through the same quest lines for Miri or Bastion and all these people for all my characters. It's ridiculous. So make that an account bound kind of quest system also. I don't know why they don't do some of these things. Like for scribing, when they put scribing in, I said, the instant I started doing it on some of my alternate characters, I said, this is a ridiculous system. They should have had it just so you can unlock this on all characters. All those individual little, what do they call those? I forgot what they call those. The affix, prefix, those things so that you get sometimes from daily quests and stuff. Why is this like I have to re-get these things on everybody? You can make them rarer to drop, but at the same time, it's like just make it account bound. Once I have this unlocked on one guy, I should have it unlocked on all my guys. And also, like for going back to companions now, making them not suck. Get rid of all the existing companion-related gear. Like, I want to eliminate that tab entirely from my inventory. It's just taking up a lot of space, all this gear I have sitting in my bank account. Get rid of, and just let us have craftable sets, just like the player. And then they can do, and they can like actually have a little bit better AI on them, so that they don't suck. First off, I would have it so they don't stand in fire, for crying out loud. I don't know how many times I've gone through dungeons, like I've gone through, and they'll just sit there and get killed. And if you want to give me like a little button to say get out of the freaking fire button, I would use that. Anything, something. But I would love so like just for them to have sets, you know? That's just me. I don't know why they don't have sets. I know why this system is like because we know the AI is dumb. So we have most of our sets revolve around cooldowns and just having resistances and just the sets shows how flawed the system is, and we need to just get beyond that. Like if AI is going to take over everything and everyone's all afraid of this stuff, then you can't tell me that you can't make these companions a little bit more intelligent. Multi-billion-dollar company with Microsoft who's literally working on and developing AI. You can't do that, and you can't implement it into our companions for this game, even just in the limited sense of the word. Come on. Because I want to be able to like run with my companion through Infinite Archive, or when I'm soloing dungeons, I seem to do okay, but the companions have a real rough time of it sometimes. And they really technically shouldn't, because some of these dungeons aren't that difficult, in my opinion. So, I don't know. You know, I could probably throw a lot more ideas against the wall, and like after I make this video, I'm going to go, I wish I made this, I wish I mentioned this in a video, so there might be a part 3 someday way down the road. Now, I know I originally said, oh, I'm going to do a 3 or 4-parter of this, but okay, I think I got through all my ideas relatively quickly. I don't see a point in making a part 3 right now, but there will be one maybe down the road. How about we hear some of your suggestions? Even just go crazy with something like a wish list for what you want to see with the game. There's some bigger things I would like to see. I would just like to see, like I mentioned before, I'd like to see the graphics maybe brought up a little bit more. Just till it looks a little better. Would work, but I would like to see character models look a little better. Just maybe doing a once over and make them a little better. Like I said, I'd like to see people with like some actual curves. I hate to say it, but can we actually have characters that look attractive? No, that's against the law now. I guess so. But then you get canceled on the internet apparently for wanting that. Well, I'm putting it out there on my wish list. You know? I also have this one guy called Skippy McFatCat. He's fat. He's as fat as the game will let me. Why not let me make him freaking absolutely morbidly obese? Also, can't I just make someone who's super skinny that looks like freaking like a Roswell alien or something from Area 51? Like super, super skinny? I just don't know why they don't allow us to make some real freaks of nature in the way in the character creator. I'd like to see that. You know what I mean? Like some real freaks. I used to do that in some of the creator wrestler games for some of those older Raw versus SmackDown games from the early 2000s. And I would like to see that here in this game. But again, it's my crazy wish list of things I would like to see in the game. So that's just my personal opinion. All right, so leave some of your suggestions for this crazy wish list stuff that you would like to see in the game. Even if it's dumb, even if it's maybe not feasible, put them in there. Let me know. Maybe the part 3 will include some of my ideas, some of your ideas, somewhere down the road. I don't think I'm going to make a part 3 to this right now, but it will be down the road. And I will take your suggestions and maybe I'll put them in there. All right. So I guess I'll just end the video here and see you guys soon. Adios.